Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one thing which I once said on this platform. That Kenyans must really be very careful with this impeachment motion against Rigathi Gachagua, because it could be a ploy by the government to divert the attention of the country from the real issues. Because why would the president push for the removal of his deputy only 2 years after being elected? And yesterday, NTV carried another story, which for me appears to be part of that strategy of diverting the attention of the country from the real issues. According to NTV, they got access, according to them, they got access to the petition to remove the deputy president, a 40-page document, and some 9 grounds for the removal of the deputy president. And one of them was that during one of the meetings, because after the fallout between Ruto and Rigathi, they met, and Rigathi Gachagua wanted to exit. So Rigathi Gachagua placed an offer to the president that I want this much. I want 8 billion. 8 billion. And that Rigathi Gachagua arrived at that figure by taking his calculator and used the figures UDA party got in the mountain and multiplied those figures by 4,000. So it means every single voter, for every single voter in the mountain who voted for William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua was demanding for 4,000. And I asked myself, is that not true? But that's the ground. That's one of the grounds. And that's why I want to advise you as a Kenyan that you must be very careful. Next week, either Monday or Tuesday, I think it's Tuesday, the government intends to officially roll the shift. Maybe they want to divert the attention of the country from the shift, because the shift is also scandalous. 104 billion Kenya shillings is supposed to be used to develop a system. 104 billion Kenya shillings. And Kenyans and every other person has been asking themselves whether that system is really worth 104 billion Kenyan shillings. So Kenyans must be very careful that all these stories could be wider strategy to divert the attention of the country, because I'm sure Kenyans will now focus more on that particular story. So in this video, I want us to talk about the 8 billion, whether Rigathi Gachagua placed the offer on to Ruto and whether Ruto declined the way these guys are saying. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But again, before I dive in, allow me to also take this opportunity to thank the following people. You are seeing their names on the screen there for the coffee which they sent to me earlier today. It goes a long way in supporting the channel. You can also do the same using the numbers you are seeing on your screen. A cup of coffee only goes for 200 bob, but you can do more. Ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. But first of all, let us listen to the story by NTV.
In politics tonight, where an alleged meeting between Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and President William Ruto, where DP Gachagua allegedly banged the table on his boss in sheer anger after Ruto denied him an 8 billion shilling exit package following sharp differences between the two, is said to be at the center of charges that will be leveled against Gachagua at the floor of the National Assembly next Tuesday. Now, NTV has learned that there are 9 other charges in the 40-page impeachment motion that is now ready for tabling. Among them, Gachagua's use of his office to allegedly divert material that should have been used to construct the Malindi to Kilifi highway to the construction of a private road leading to a hotel in Kilifi that is linked to him, as well as Gachagua's accumulation of 5.7 billion shillings in the last 2 years from other sources, apart from his annual salary of 12 million shillings. NTV's political affairs reporter David Mudhoga digs deep into Gachagua's impeachment motion and for the first time tells you 10 reasons why MPs want to hang Gachagua out to dry.
In 72 hours, the fate of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will be in the hands of members of parliament. An unprecedented impeachment motion against the country's second-in-command is expected to be tabled at the floor of the National Assembly on Tuesday afternoon by one of the over 300 members of parliament who endorsed Gachagua's historic removal from office. While the week-long drafting of the 40-page motion has been a closely guarded affair, NTV has managed to peruse some of the pages of the motion and spoken to a number of lawmakers privy to it in an attempt to identify the charges that will form the grounds for Gachagua's impeachment. The motion has up to 10 charges, top among them being Gachagua allegedly threatened his boss, President William Ruto. Gachagua is accused of literally banging the desk in sheer anger at a meeting with his boss after Ruto denied him 8 billion shillings that Gachagua had asked for to walk away and pave the way for Ruto to appoint his replacement after their relationship turned sour. NTV has been told that Gachagua arrived at 8 billion shillings after multiplying each vote that Ruto got in the Mount Kenya region in 2022 with 4,000 shillings. The second charge.
And just like I keep on telling you on this platform, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing in politics just happen for the sake of it. This story of 8 billion, in my view, is intended to achieve a specific political objective. There's no two way around it. So for me, I want us to figure out the intentions why these guys are raising that particular issue now, and not before Rigathi Gachagua began pushing back William Ruto. Because we all know that in this Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment, the person who is going to lose the most is none other than William Ruto. Because whether it's going to succeed or whether it's going to fail, it's going to lose in whichever way you look at it. Because number one, there's that betrayal tag. William Ruto is now going to appear as if he has betrayed Rigathi Gachagua. That's number one. Number two, William Ruto will now also emerge as someone who cannot keep his word. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua even once challenged him that the only promise he made to Kenyans that do not require, my daughter Nanisomboa Pasana, that do not require funding was that one, not to interfere with his deputy or frustrate. And of course, most Kenyans also always believe that William Ruto is a vengeful person. Again, by this, it's going to emerge that William Ruto is actually revenging on Rigathi Gachagua. But what were the intentions?
And it's very enriching. I want to thank you. But two issues that I've taken home, many have taken, but two, that all of us, and I think me more, must start walking with the wise and stop hanging around with fools. It's a good message, isn't it? I've heard. And you'll see. Secondly,
Simulichagua Rais William Ruto na mimi tikiti moja. Sasa itakuwaje utaki Gachagua unataka William Ruto? Inawezekana? Kama utaki Gachagua, si ndio? Siko namna hiyo? Siko namna hiyo? Mimi nyinyi niulize nyinyi. Si nilimwambia mchagua William Ruto? Si mlimchagua pamoja na mimi? Kama singekuwa hapo, mungemchagua? Mungemchagua? Unajua rais anadanganywa na vijana. Oh, Wameru walikupenda hata bila Gachagua angekuchagua. Ni uongo ama ni ukweli? Ni uongo ama ni ukweli? My brother President William Ruto, hao watu ya Mlima Kenya ni wangwana. Ni wangwana. Walikuchagua
of that particular claim. Number one, in my view, I tend to think that it's part of the wider scheme by the government to justify the impeachment against Rigathi Gachagua. It's easier to incite Kenyans using that kind of propaganda. That Rigathi wanted 8 billion. I refused. And how did he arrive at the figure? He arrived at the figure by multiplying the Mount Kenya votes, which would be got by 4,000. So Kenyans are likely to be angry, and they were like, why do you want money if you are not comfortable with the government? Why do you want money to live? So for me, it could be that propaganda. Number two, I'm also looking at a strategy of trying to set up Rigathi Gachagua against Mount Kenya voters. Because assuming you are in Mount Kenya and you voted for William Ruto without any consideration whatsoever of Rigathi Gachagua, that you'd vote for Ruto whether Rigathi was a running mate, whether you was who was who, then you realize that kumbe Rigathi anafanya biashara na kura zangu. He wants to do business with my vote. That now 4,000 for my vote, and is taking it, not giving me that 4,000. So the people of the mountain are not going to be very happy with that, if you ask me. So it's part of that strategy. Again, before we proceed, allow me to take this opportunity also to introduce you guys to LemFi. LemFi is a mobile money app for users in the UK, Canada, and the United States of America to send money back to Kenya. They offer the best exchange rates, and the money will be delivered instantly into Mpesa, Airtel Money, and of course, if you want, directly into your bank account. You can use the link in the pinned comment to download the app, ladies and gentlemen. Number three, I think the government is also now trying to counter Rigathi Gachagua's bribery allegations against MPs. Rigathi Gachagua was very clear the other day that members of parliament were being bribed 5 million to sign that petition. 5 million. After that allegation, this story is coming up. So it's now counter. You are saying we are being paid, you demanded that. And lastly, it's supposed to portray Rigathi Gachagua as a Mount Kenya leader, not as a Kenyan leader. So that when this impeachment motion will be going on, Kenyans are being told, you should not bother. This is a Mount Kenya issue. As a matter of fact, as someone who voted for Azimio, I also strongly believe that whether Rigathi Gachagua goes home, I don't care. Whether they go, because if that opportunity of all of them going home were to arise, that's exactly what I would watch for. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.